So for us in the Cybersecurity Cooperative Research Centre, our key focus is now on commercialization of the research outcomes that have been achieved over the last 5.5 years of our life. And here we're really looking at transitioning some of the great research and the prototypes that have been developed in cybersecurity applications to make them deployable and commercialize them with our partners and participants. A lot of the sharing in cybersecurity incident response is about understanding the threats better, have a collective understanding about the dependencies in these systems and what they mean in a systemic level for Australia. And one of those examples is around distributed energy resources, where the CRC is leading a national working group on the cybersecurity of distributed energy resources, where we have been quite vocal in public about the risks that Australia as an energy sector is facing from cybersecurity. So that is a group that is sharing knowledge commonly. We also discover obviously new vulnerabilities of smart devices and other software as we are undertaking our research projects. And the CRC overall has disclosed more than 15 vulnerabilities through our ASD responsible disclosure process so far. So we're contributing to the understanding where the risks and the threats might be coming from. That links very nicely to one of our projects, which we call Augmenting Cyber Defense Capabilities, or ACDC for short. That is a project where we are simulating a critical transport infrastructure, a maritime port, and we're inviting security practitioners from ports to a 2-3 day exercise to practice their skills and get proficient in the use of these technologies to defend against a nation-state capable adversary in a simulated setting that gets a heart pumping for the people that have their hands on their keyboards and trying to make sure that this port doesn't get compromised. One thing that really stands out in our awareness-raising campaign is the policy advisory papers that we have put out on our website, which you're all welcome to have a look at. In particular, I mentioned is distributed energy resources already, but the work that we have done with the Australian Institute of Company Directors in collaboration with the CRC on governance principles for cybersecurity and also how to govern through an incident, which was released a bit earlier this year. The other part is our first commercialized product, Corporates Compromised, where we have a simulation environment for board directors and senior leaders in an organization that takes them through in 90 minutes through a cybersecurity incident and lets them respond to a cybersecurity incident and make strategic decisions for a fictitious organization. So I mentioned corporate compromised already in my last answer. That I think is really one of those approaches where we are pushing boundaries here. We're using gamification techniques to engage people and also using another project, nudging techniques to keep people engaged with cybersecurity. Cybersecurity for many people can be a dry topic and they can't relate it to day-to-day activities in their workplace easily or see it as a distraction from what they need to do in their workplace. And I think we all have been guilty on sighing deeply at this multi-factor authentication that comes up again. But understanding as a whole of the organization, the risks that are associated with it, and treating cybersecurity here as a team sport and as a whole of organization activity is really important. So I think the best part that governments and larger organizations or any organization can do is make cybersecurity not dry, but let people engage with it in an interactive format where they can explore these issues for themselves, because the retention and the effectiveness of these kind of awareness training is much more. I think academia has a really strong role to play in driving the engagement with cybersecurity and spotting what are these bigger systemic risks that are on the horizon. A lot of security practitioners live day by day and are quite tactical in their response because we are generally not as mature as we need to be today. Where the role of academia really comes in to look across the horizon and see what are these new AI technologies that we are currently developing that come in. What is the threat that will be generated by quantum computing coming forward, and other emerging technologies and their adoption in society that change it from this is a nice new innovation into actually this can create a systemic risk for Australia. And I think academia has a very strong role to play to setting us up for a secure future, less so for the operational activities that many organizations currently are fighting in the daily fight against cybercrime and cyber attacks.